Class 6 Biology, Chapter 3rd. Good morning, students. The students, on page number 4040, this is a test yourself. So I already saw for you people. So largest gland in the body, it is liver. Then pulp-like paste in the stomach, this is called chyme. Then muscular, hollow, thick-walled and flattened bag in the abdomen, it is called stomach. And then this complete the given tables. So you need to fill the fill-ups. So here mouth, liver, ileum. Then I have written renin, RENNIN, renin, trypsin, lipase, maltase, lactase. Then the functions are starch will be broken down into maltose, proteins. Then we have proteins, proteases and peptones. Then polypeptides. This is fats. It will be broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. And this is undigested starch. That is peptones and peptides, amino acids. Then we have glucose, sucrose, glucose, fructose, and then galactose. So basically these are the parts of the digestive system. The enzymes, these are the name of the enzymes, and these are the names of the either the bigger molecules. Left hand side you will find the bigger molecules, on the right hand side of the arrow you will find the smaller molecules. Okay. Now next topic is respiratory system, and in this respiration we know it involves our breathing process, and during breathing what are the organs required over there? Nose, nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, that is windpipe, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli and lungs. So basically in this respiration we will see how the gases are entering our body, how the waste gases are coming out of the body. So first of all, whenever we inhale the air, so air comes inside the body through our nose and nasal cavity. So the nose has two openings called the nostrils. Air enters the body through the nostrils, which lead into the nasal cavity. The nasal cavity is lined with the hair. Inside our nose, hair are there. So basically what is the function of these hair? It is to trap the fine dust particles, and they prevent them from reaching the lungs. Then the inside of the cavity is lined by a sticky fluid called mucus. From time to time there is a secretion, there is a sticky secretion from our nose, and that very thing is called the mucus. And what is the function of the mucus? So dust and germs stick to the mucus and are prevented from entering into the lungs. The hair and the mucus in the nasal cavity clean the inhaled air. Also, blood vessels present in the nasal cavity warm up the air to match it with our body temperature. It is due to these reasons that we should breathe through nose and not mouth. So we know that although we can breathe through our mouth, but we should not do that thing. The reason is that if we inhale the air from the mouth, a lot of dust and lot of bacteria, they can enter our body. Now let us see the pharynx, larynx and trachea. From nose, air goes into the pharynx. It is a region behind the nose and mouth which leads to the throat. Let us see. So it's here. So we are inhaling air through our nose, and we are eating food through our mouth. So the inhaled air and the food, they get mixed in this region, and this is called the pharynx. Okay. Then we have the lower portion of the pharynx leads to the voice box called the larynx. Let us see. So from the pharynx going downside, one tube you can see, it is called the food pipe. It is not distinctly mentioned over there because we are not going to read the digestive system right now, and the distinction is here, the clear-cut distinction is here in case of this windpipe. Okay. So this very structure, so from the pharynx one is going towards the windpipe, and this is called the larynx. And students, in this larynx we have the vocal cords. So whenever we are speaking, the air comes from this side to this side. The passage of air is from inside of our body to the outside of the body. So here some muscular structures are present. These are called vocal cords, and whenever the air passes through these vocal cords, they vibrate, and because of their vibration we can speak. So larynx, it contains two ligamentous folds known as vocal cords. They vibrate, then air passes through them and produce sound. The larynx leads to the windpipe or trachea. Let us see. So this larynx, it is leading to windpipe or trachea. Okay. Now the opening of the windpipe called glottis is guarded by a muscular flap called epiglottis. It closes the windpipe when we swallow food. At times food enters the windpipe, which leads to coughing. This happens if the windpipe is not properly closed by the epiglottis. So let us see. So in this larynx there is a passage called the glottis. Okay. So it is a sort of, you can consider it to be a space, a hollow space through which the air will enter our windpipe. Okay. And in this space is guarded by a flap like structure that is called epiglottis. Okay. So whenever students, we are just engulfing the food or swallowing the food can enter our windpipe also. So basically when we are swallowing the food, the epiglottis gets closed and the food will go to the food pipe instead of going to the windpipe. Okay. And you know, sometimes whenever we are swallowing food, if we are talking while swallowing the food, what happens that sometimes it happens that the food, it gets entered in our windpipe and suddenly we start coughing. Then the next part of respiratory system, there bronchi, bronchioles and alveoli. Now the trachea runs in the middle of the chest up to a short distance between the two lungs. Then it divides into two branches called the bronchi, and the singular is bronchus. Let us see. Now students, here you can see that it is trachea, and later on it is divided into two, left hand side and the right hand side, and these structures are called, or these tube like structures are called bronchi. Together they are called bronchi, and single, if I talk about only the single side, then it will be called bronchus. Okay. And thereafter you can see the bronchus is further divided into smaller and very fine tubes. Okay. So the two bronchi lead into the lungs, one into the right lung and other into the left. Inside the lungs, the bronchi are further divided and subdivided into smaller and smaller branches called the bronchioles. So the smallest tube, you can consider it to be the bronchioles. Now bronchioles end into microscopic air sacs called the alveolar sacs. So in this diagram you can see the bronchiole, the fine tube. Now later on, this fine tube is the terminal position of this fine tube is these structures which are called alveolar sac. There you can see they are just balloon like structures. Okay. They are getting inflated and deflated. So each sac is a group of alveoli, singular alveolus. There are millions of alveoli in each lung. So they have shown you with the cut open of the alveolar sac. So very small fine structures are there, and they are called alveoli. There are millions of alveoli in each lung, and blood capillaries richly supply the walls of alveoli with blood. Let us see. You can see over there that every alveolar sac, you can see there is a supply of the blood capillaries, or you can say supply of blood. So what will happen, whatever the air is there, we know that bronchioles, they were carrying the air into these sacs, and from here the oxygen in the air, it will get transported to the blood capillaries. Okay. Then we have the main part, that is our lungs. Lungs are a pair of spongy and elastic organs. They are present in the, okay, before that it is there. The inner lining of trachea, bronchi and bronchioles is made up of ciliated epithelium. So ciliated epithelium, these are the type of the cells. So basically I have already drawn over here. So a rough diagram I have shown you. So it is a cell, and over this cell there is a hair like structures. Okay. So such a cell will be called ciliated epithelium. So the inside of our trachea, bronchi and bronchioles, they have such cells. Okay, and what is the function of these cells? As you can see here, hairy structures are present over there which are called cilia. Now the movement of the cilia of the ciliated epithelium helps to push out unwanted particles present in the inhaled air. So basically their function, since they can move, so their function is to just whenever some dust or dirt particles, unwanted particles are coming inside, just push it back outward. Okay, then students, we have the lungs. Lungs are a pair of spongy and elastic organs. They are present in the chest cavity and are protected by the rib cage. Let us see. So these are the lungs. Okay, and if we see the skeleton system, obviously here they have not shown the skeleton system, so we know our lungs are protected by the ribs. Okay, then students, our lungs, the outer membrane of the lung is called the pleural membrane, and it is a double membrane structure. Okay, and since it is a like this double membrane structure, and inside this double membrane there is a fluid which is called pleural fluid. So this fluid is called the pleural fluid. And now what is the function of this pleural fluid? It lubricates the lungs, making diffusion of gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide easier. Okay, so basically if I talk like this, so these walls, the outer layer of the lungs, it is having pleural membrane. It is a double membrane structure, and inside that double membrane structure fluid is there. So you know now that it will just lubricate the lungs and make the diffusion of gases, these gases, easier. Now below the lungs is a muscular sheet called the diaphragm. The diaphragm moves up and down and helps in breathing. Let us see. So below the lungs you can see this structure, and this is called diaphragm. Okay, now this diaphragm moves upwards or downwards in this direction, and because of these movements the lungs, they sometimes they get contracted or they get relaxed or expanded. Okay, so the rest of the mechanism of respiration, how this diaphragm is making the lungs to expand and contract, we will see in the next video. Till then, goodbye.